All right. For today's demo, we are going to perform an installation of Db2 client on Linux. So for this demo, the Db2 version is going to be 11.5.9 Community Edition. The OS version we're going to use it is Ubuntu 22.04. So typically, when we install the Db2 client, we can either use the Db2 client install image that is relatively small, like 600 megabyte. We can download from IBM, or you can use the Db2 server install image that is about 2 gig. So in this demo, we're going to use the Db2 server image. We're going to choose one of the options because the server image typically can also a superset contains the client. Okay, so I don't have the client this time. Image I just use the server. Okay, and previously almost my video it is for the server install, but this one is for the client because I'm going to use this client for the future demo. Okay, so that is why I decided to make a video on the install Db2 client. So this is the brief steps we're going to do. So step one, I already download and upload the staged install image. So let me log on to the server I'm going to use. Okay, so this is the server U22, that is the name. I also have a username also called U22. So just try to keep it simple. So this is the server. If I do ls, you will see this is the community edition install image. You can read from the name, right? The version, Linux platform, the server. Okay. So, and also this box I've been used previously for install Db2 server, so it already passed the pre-check. If you encounter like a warning, you can look at my previous videos to do the pre-check. After that, we're gonna run the Db2 install, pick up the client option, and then we will create an instance. The Db2 instance for the client is different from server. This is instance you cannot start the instance because this is just some client's libraries. Okay. After that, we're going to demo just catalog a remote database and make a connection. Okay. Here's the system. The host name is we just demoed, username. And so we're going to use this to demo. Okay. So I'm already in this system. So I already staged the, so let's just untar this Db2 installer. You see this installer, the basic untar into this directory. It is server underscore DEC. Once it's the tarball being uncompressed, we're going cd to this directory, and as usual, we're going to do the pre-check. Okay. As I said, we already installed the 32lib, so we will not see those warnings. And so if you don't like those warnings, you can install. In general, you can ignore those warnings, okay, if you see it. But anyway, so, and also if we use the another method, if we downloaded the client install image, even simpler because there's no option, you just simply install the Db2 client. Okay, so that is more general method. Typically, people, do And for this community edition, because I don't have the client install image, so I downloaded the server image. So that is why I'm going to use the server image install the DB2 client. Okay. So after the install, we may also just take a look at the like some licensing information. Okay, so it's installed. So I'm going to cd to this server DEC directory. As we said, typically we do the db2 prerequisite check with -l, that is latest, -I, that is exclude the pure skill. You see it's successful. So now we're going to use a sudo that we're going to do the install. So this time I'm not going to use non-interactive, just use interactive. You can see what we're going to pick. Okay. So the first is license term. So we accept the license term. Second, see where you're going to install. So we're going to just take the default. Okay. And the third is this is the four options we can use. If we choose server, then we're going to install db2 server. If we use const v, that is the db2 connect, and so we're going to use choose this client. Okay, so we're going to install db2 client. Or if we choose the fourth one, rtcl, that is runtime client. Okay, so that is even smaller. So we're going to just use the general db2 client software. Okay. And then the install is going to move forward. It takes like a few minutes to complete the install. After that, we're gonna create a DB2 instance and then do some further demo. At this moment, I think I'm gonna just go pause the video for a minute. All right, the install is complete successfully. So now we're going to just check. So we can run the db2 ls. We can see the db2, this version is installed here in this location. This is the installation date. Okay, so it's successful. Now we're going to create an instance. Okay, to create the instance, same thing we did before. So basically from the install path, and from this directory and create this one. Okay. So we know our install path is this /opt IBM db2, the version name, and followed by the db instance. Okay. So it's instance. Then there's a command db2i instance create, then followed by u, that is the fence user. So in db2 they have a fence user. Okay. So in my case, we just keep it the same. So if we return, they will create the instance. However, before we enter this command, we need to create a user. So db2, the instance is basically a set of files. They need to be an owner to hold this set of files, or so let's create the instance first. Create the user first. Okay, we're gonna get a message. They said the db2 instance doesn't exist. Okay, so let's do the user create. So the user del, we need a sudo user del. Okay, or del user add, or add user. Let's use add user. So add user is so we're gonna add this user db2i st1. This is typically default. Okay. Inst db2 inst1. Okay. This is the name. Said db inst1 already exists. Okay. let me remove it first. It's probably something from previous one. Okay, so I'm gonna remove this guy first. Db2 del. So let me remove the instance, just recreate. Okay, not user del, not add user del. Okay. So previously I already have this user. Now we're gonna recreate this user. Okay, so we're gonna use add user db2 ins1. This is the default. Okay, so add user, not add del. Okay, add user. So they create a whole home, whatever shell, or this home is already exist. Okay, that is from previous. So the password. So I'm going to give a simple password. Okay, so then I just return. So then the users create. If we do id ins1, this is the user being created. Okay, so the user is going to be used also called db2 instance owner. It owns the files, the instance once it's created. Now we retrieve the command to create the instance. Okay, so once the instance create, so we can log on to this instance and to do the rest of the demo. So this instance is different from server instance. They are not they cannot allocate memory. That means you cannot start the instance. That means they're just a client instance. So they hold a set of files or libraries for the application or user to connect, to do the client side work. Okay, so we will see it shortly. Okay, so now we finish the create instance. So we would add one line. So basically, see if the user doesn't exist, we can see add user or user add. So in our case, we used default user db2 inst1. All right, so the instance is created. Now we're gonna log on to that user or sudo to this user. Okay, so we're gonna sudo su to this user, sudo su. Okay, or you can just use SSH log on to this user if you know the password. So I'm in this user called db-ins1 user, ins1 user. So let's do a db2 start. You see we're going to fail because there's no db2 start command. So this is different from server. So what we can do, we can look at the license. Okay, so db2 licam minus list. Okay, you can see right now what we have is db2 IBM data server client, aka db2 client. Okay, so we have this client, so we can use this to catalog database and to connect to. Okay, so let's do a db2 list db directory. You will see this empty. That right now there's nothing cataloged. Okay, so before moving on to the catalog remote database, so we're gonna do two things. One, we need to catalog the TCP node and also catalog the database and then the connection. So the remote database, this is the one I'm going to use. Okay, so for this remote system, I have a server name called 09. The db2 instance on that server is also called db2 ins1. There's a sample database. They listen to the port 50,000. Okay, let's take a look. So I'm already on that server. So this is the remote server. It is Oracle Linux 9. And if we do a db2 list db directory, you can see it. This is the database I referred to called sample. Okay. Also, if we do a cat the let's do a db2 get dbmcfg. So we will see what get dbmcfg. So database manager. So you see, in my case, this instance is listening to port 50,000. Okay. So now we're gonna catalog this server and then do the connection. Okay. So let me retrieve back the text file I'm gonna use. So to connect remote database, use the db2 client CLI. So first we're gonna cat the node. It's TCP/IP node. Okay, let's do it. This is going to be db2 catalog TCP/IP node. Okay. So node, you give a node name. So in my case, I just call the sample node, okay? And then you have to give the remote server name. So in my case, the remote server name is 09, or you can use IP address or fully qualified name as long as you, from this host, we can resolve the name. Then followed by the server. Server is basically the port. So that is strange why it's called a server. It should just call port. But anyway, so we'll not complain because it's been like this with many years. So anyway, so we're going to do the catalog. Okay, after catalog, if we do a db2 list node directory, so we will see the node is being defined or cataloged. Okay, so now we're going to do the database click. So we're going to do the db2 catalog db, and the db in the remote name called sample. We can catalog as something, but we just keep the same name. So at node sample node. Okay, so now we catalog the node. So now if we do a db2 list db directory, we will see the database is being cataloged. You can see this is the database name, and this is where the node and the type, it is remote. Okay, so at this moment, it's ready for us to do the connect. Okay, as usual, we're going to a db2 connect to sample. So if we return, you know, we're gonna get an error message because this is not a local database. We can't do this. We're gonna have to use the username. Okay, so we're gonna use the user. So the remote user, we're gonna use the instance name and the return. Now they ask a remote user's password. So I don't remember the password. Let me give it a try. Okay. Let's see, communication error. Let's see. Let me find out. All right, let's continue. I find the problem. So basically, this error message indicates the protocol. So that is means they cannot talk. So basically, on the server side, the port is not open. Okay, so and we can easily to find out. So if we do a telnet, suppose I have telnet installed, right? So if we telnet the remote host followed by the port number, you will see no route to the host. So what I'm going to do is, I'm gonna stop the firewall. Okay, so I'm gonna stop the firewall. So that means you can open the specific port, but for simplicity, I just stop the remote firewall. So in this way, now if we do the test from client side, you will see, yeah, now it says, the port is open now. Okay. All right, so now we're gonna do the connection test, all right? So I'm gonna do db2 connect. Now give it a password. now it's connected. So the remote server, it is it's version 11.5.9 as well. Okay. So that is just a quick demo. Let's return to my demo. So my text file. So this is the text file. So make a connection because this is remote, right? So you have to specify the username, right? Username and the using whatever password, okay? Or let this interactive enter your password. Okay, so that is a quick demo for Db2 client install and make a connection.